Greetings, bloggers, vloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with another edition of this week's vlog. So if you haven't got used to me or you don't know who I am, I'll give a brief rundown. My name is Dustin. I'm in my late 30s. I'm on the autism spectrum and I have a handful of other mental health challenges. I've been living independently for 6 years. I've been through the gamut of having a diagnosis over 25 years ago and I am just a wealth of information, not only in the autism realm, but many other realms as well. And as we move into this week's vlog, I want to start off by saying, part of living independently, and I guess, and today I do a post every day. If you follow me on my Dustin's Dynasty Facebook uh, profile, you'll find that I do a post every day of a little inspiration, a little bit of what I'm feeling, sort of thing. And today I talked about, how I got up and I took a shower and, made the bed and did things, got dressed and actually, got moving because we had things to do today as a family. Um, but, those are things that are important in nature. Things like taking a shower wasn't always easy for me, nor making the bed. I struggled with it, as I said in that post, at my parents' home. There was a lot of struggles with that, and now it's like second nature. To the point I'm taking sometimes multiple showers a day in order to relax or do whatever. But part of that, what it segues into, is what I've been thinking about this week, about talking about, because it is something that I am working on and it's a challenge among the autism community. It's finding friends. People think we're this person who doesn't want friends, and we're fine by ourselves, and we can be by ourselves, and that very well may be. But times we long for just somebody to talk to or just share our feelings and our frustrations and what's going on in our lives, other than our family member or our therapist or our day staff or anybody or the bus driver or anything. It's something like that. And I was on Instagram this morning, and there's challenges to that, as being autistic. I think a lot of people have challenges, and it can be hard for many. um, you know, to be able to speak to you in the way I'm speaking to you now with full contact on the video, on the camera here, it's not always been easy. I've had to be, I was probably old school in the way of being taught how to speak and how to keep eye contact because that was what I was taught. In high school, well, throughout K to 12, but more so in high school, I remember going to speech and language pathology sessions once a week. And there was a lot of focus on having conversation with other peers and having the eye contact. And there was a lot of that forced eye contact back then. And, as much as it can be hard to make or break, it is something that is a part of conversation. Now, you don't necessarily have to have it, but it's kind of how the world works these days. And even as I entered the wonderful world of work 14 years ago, almost 15, that too has been something that I need to do because I interact with the public a good bit. It took a long time to get to there too, um, as far as myself and my journey. I was afraid to go to work a lot of times, and the way that we used to do work was very different then. And it was just a fear, and now I see that, that although that's not the way that it's done anymore, it's changed. And but there's a lot of anxiety that goes with interacting with people, just talking to people, being able to communicate in an effective form, not knowing how to say something or what to say even when you're talking to somebody. What's a good topic? What's not a good topic? What those sort of things come up. And I've been very blessed that I went to a trade school where they taught you these things, what was appropriate, like when you went in for a job interview. or, something like that. I mean, and there's always the struggle, also, you don't understand body language. And it's taken me a long time, but I'm finally in my late 30s understanding, body language and how that works. And when somebody expressing their self facially, how does that look? And the gestures and just there's so much, going on there. And that can make having friends and talking to people that you may or may not feel comfortable with can make you particularly anxious in a certain situation. I remember I couldn't even make a phone call 20 years ago, and even more so in the work that I do, doing surveys for Medicaid, I couldn't imagine calling somebody on the phone like I do now with such ease because it was something I often put off. And I don't do that as much anymore in my work, but it's just I would find it very challenging and I would put it off because I would hide from it because it was so make me so anxious. And it was you don't know how to navigate a social situation and what's how to sit and how to do and when to say and how to say, and you want to sometimes be too over friendly where you want to open up yourself deeper than what you need to be. And that's something I even still struggle with from time to time. I have to say, okay, keep it back, hold it back, and sometimes I just don't feel confident about it. But I know I can speak and I know I can even text people, and it's not easy, but I do it. Um, it's been a long road, and being friends, and having that rapport with people. But then in that same token, I'm having people look up to me because I'm doing all the hard work that's required of that, and there's also always the struggle to understand um, what emotions we're feeling, our emotional intelligence, what are we feeling emotionally? What is, how are we feeling about a friend or somebody where or how is something as it relates to a friendship? How do we feel about that friendship? Do we like that person? Do we not like that person? Are we jealous of that person because they're doing so much better than we are, and or maybe we just want somebody who's neurotypical for a change that isn't running the same cylinders that we are. That might be a thing too. And, and there's challenges too, in maintaining the friendship. I'm very fortunate, that I still have a small, I wouldn't say circle, and I do have some people I do talk to, through texting mainly, but it is progress. And they've been through this journey that I've been on this past 6 years. Well, not completely, but a good while of it. And through all my challenges, through all my setbacks, there's a certain circle that has still been there and knows that I need to take care of myself too, and that's a good thing. And I try to keep that expectation and hold that expectation of what that friendship is. Even it's you have to constantly, I'm learning that even in therapy as of last week. I have to do better at making contact and just checking in with people because I don't want to ghost somebody, and I don't, I feel it's responsible to have the back and forth, but what is too much? What is too little? That sort of thing. So, and I was reading this post this morning about this young man and how he struggled in his 20s, how to have a friendship. So I think, it's important, and then they note this here, that it's important to speak to someone who has similar interest and ask them questions about it and try to get to know, well, hey, what if you like this person because of this, that, or the other thing, what is that like? You, one thing that I think is key is you don't have to be friends with everyone. And that was me before I started to have a relapse last year. I was like, gotta be done with everybody, gotta be in everybody's business, and then I realized, you only need the people. And through everything that I had been through, the last few relapses and everything, there have been those who have been there through it. And I think because I have negated so much in my personal identity, where do I fall in the rainbow and all that business, you know, what does that look like, and where I'm at is and these people that are happy and are staying with me because of where I want to fall, because I know that's where I want to be. It's not about anybody else, it's about me and where I want to be. um they're happy with that and they respect me, and there's boundaries and all that too. So and it's important to make friends with people who are happy. If they are constantly blowing your phone up every 5 seconds, don't do it. And even today, in today's world, I can't. I've had some pretty toxic friendships, I'm not going to lie about that. And it's because I wasn't recognizing it, and I would just give in, give in, give in, give in. And it was taking a toll on my mental health. And sometimes my family would see that. And now I realize what those signs are. And I've built boundaries around those that I have to, there's people that I still have to interact with, but yet I keep that a very fine boundary, you know. And it's important to put yourself out there, if you can and remember what people if you can and remember that people want friends just as much as you do. I mean, everybody wants a friend, but I think it has to be a good friend, I think there's too many classifications in today's world of friends. We have our Facebook friends, we have our Instagram friends, we have our friends that we may not even consider a friend, or that we don't even see or interact with other than in our professional academic lives. And it's very confusing, even though we may see them as a friend in the 9 to 5 or the 9 to 3 or the 7 to 3 role. We don't see them, or we don't talk to them in our personal lives. And I think that was something from myself that I didn't understand for so long. That was, kind of a struggle. And I think, now I see that there can be that, and it can be beneficial. So, we talk about that. We talk about, I think, we have all these online tools now, and whether families like to hear it or not, it's gonna happen. And, it's fortunate, I think, in a way that I'm older and that I was more mature when it started to evolve. But there is connection out there, and fortunately, I think if through a mutual friend, you'll find your connection, and you'll find your way of connecting with others, but it's having a delicate balance. It's vetting out who is healthy in your life, who is not healthy in your life. So that's, and, it's important to have an online or an in-person community that you can relate with. Autism has so much evolved since I was younger, that there was more connection than what there was. Now, I wish locally there was more of a connection, but unfortunately, we're so backwards in my county, and I hate to say it, but it hasn't evolved to what I would like it to be. And I know I could be the game changer behind it, but I just don't have the energy to do that. So I think you find other ways to go about that. Um, you don't try to overanalyze a situation. Just be yourself. And that was something I had a hard time understanding. It was a hard time understanding that, hey, I just need to be me, and they'll love me. They'll either be with me through it or they won't. And as I have said, I've had my struggles over the last year, and I'm finally on a good place. I'm in a good spot, and those same few people are still there. And I'm truly grateful, because sometimes you just need that extra support when things don't seem, you know maybe you just need that hello and how you're doing, and maybe they need it too. Um, ask for support. Don't be afraid to be shy from those that support you, your parents, your family, and they can help you. And, ironically, I think there's parts that it's uncomfortable to say those things, but it's part of the family and the parent also being educated and knowing how things work and, knowing that, see in their loved one's shoes how it has to be when there's nobody who will interact with them, maybe no peers or anything like that. It's challenging, but it's also important to be open about your interests and passions. Everybody likes different things. But people always find out to like new things, especially if you know a lot about them and get excited. That's something. You know, oh, I must have hit my thing there. Sorry about that. But it's just you find that passion, and I think having that, my wire must be sticking. I do apologize. It's kicking and it's not sticking for some reason. But there we go. Hopefully we're back. Um, but you have to find your passion, you have to find what makes you happy. And it's sometimes hard to be reciprocal in a friendship. And I've done it for about 5 years now. And I feel like there's people who do care in this world, and that's what keeps me going, to be quite frank with you. So I know I didn't go much today. It's been a busy weekend. I just wanted to get those few points out today, and I thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and X at Dustin's Dynasty. I'm on the web. That web address is dustinsdynastyusa.com, and I'm on Linktree. That handle is Dustin's Dynasty. Again, I want to thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.